Despite the rapid advancement and development in technology, a staggering 70% of MedTech startups fails to scale successfully. As a healthcare innovative leader, mastering connections and a best way to follow up on those connections so you can have most effective growth is imperative in the healthcare landscape. Get ready for part 2 of my interview with Philip Reid, where I was featured on his show, Focus on You, on the Phoenix National Network, where I provide insight on effective collaboration for entrepreneurs like you to be able to quickly bring on the best people in your corner in order to skyrocket your entrepreneurial journey.
Healthcare entrepreneurs, are you ready to rewrite the rules for your business so you can have more time off, a great team, and more income while creating a positive social impact? Then you are in the right place. Welcome to The Provider's Edge. I'm your host, Sabrina Runbeck. I'm a provider, an international peak performance keynote speaker, and a best-selling author. Let's open the gateway to profitability for you today. My guests and I help healthcare entrepreneurs and startup founders like you break through barriers so you can control your business, control your life, and control your future. This is your defining moment to be a disruptor in healthcare.
We are back with Sabrina Runbeck, and if you caught the first part of our program, you'll know that she is a dynamic, super just informational person. And if you are out there and your business needs a little boost, she does consultations and a lot more. We're going to go into that right now, just to find out a little bit more about what she does when she goes into a small business or even a corporation. So Sabrina, tell us a little bit about what you do as far as going into business to help them get to that next level.
Yeah, great question. I think we all have a different concept of what business should be, and I think that's the right thing to do, because the way that feels most aligned in who you are, that big vision that you have, is going to be different from someone else. So when we think about to start, it's always the core triangle, right? The innovators who always have a drive of creation. And then you have the person who creates the impact and income, who helps the innovator make sense of their innovation to produce that ROI and then connect with people. Then you have the third person that really helps to bridge all that together, the executioner, the person who are the true CEO level and operational level person to make sure that big innovation and impact, creating a big strategy of how do you actually deliver. So when I'm looking into these startup or companies, we really wanted to be in that round of who do you have on your team already? How do you continue to make sure that you speak with the right people? So there's, I believe there's 4 different levels. Number 1, we wanted to say, we needed to captivate, right? It means captivate your own internal team's attention, captivate everybody else to make sure that connection turn into a champion. And that's the goal, right? Really is concept positioning in who you are, what the product is. And then is create. And it has to create super intentionally. So when we reach out to people, it's no longer just like B2C level of connection, because that's a lot of repetitive work. We wanted to create that higher level of B2B introduction, people who you really want to work with, but they already have those type of people they are working with, but simply servicing in a different way, right? So for medicine, it could be if you have a, let's just say a hair loss product, a very specific way, even you do genetic testing or however, and you're reaching out to the med spas who already have patients who can be interested in what you do, because that med spa might not have that type of services. They are focusing on laser treatment, or they're focusing on injections, right? So that supplement of your service actually can help them to generate additional income and serve them patient in a broader way, right? So that's the type of level of connection we want. So then you need to know how to even get into the right door, so that creating the list, finding out who they are is very important. We don't want to go the wrong order. Most people is like, let me create first. Let me find all these people first. But if you don't know how to captivate their attention, just because you start speaking to them, they can get really confused and they might not see your value. Then they'll bypass you, right? And then the third is going to be then connect. How do you become that power connector? And when you do make that connection, we have to think in win-win situation. And most often when people come into my think tank, and this is always the exercise, everyone has 60 seconds. You need to tell me who you are, what the mission is, what result you get them, right? And then what's your specific ask, and how do you create win-win situation? Now, most time people run out of time. Only a few people who has been repeatedly showing up, practice, and get it done, right? So it's a new way of thinking about elevator pitch, because most people don't say the last two. They're not clear on their ask. So what happens when we're not clear on our ask? What do you think, Phil?
Well, if we're not clear on our ask, then, the person that you're talking to has no clue what you're requesting. You're painting a picture, right? And if you're the one that has the vision, or the image that you want to kind of portray, you have to go very descriptive, and even sometimes repeat yourself in a different way, just so if you have an audience of different types of people, different mindsets, you're in front of a group of people that are coming from different backgrounds, everybody's not going to be on the same page, right? So communication is a multi-layered thing that I found that, depending on who and how many people you're speaking with, you have to really be almost like detailed in how you're going to break things down. Sometimes you have to even like speak slower, just like make sure every word is kind of penetrating and going through. You're going to feel like you're talking to a group of kindergartners, but it's effective in the sense that everyone will kind of get an understanding of where you're coming from and what you're really trying to do.
Right. Especially one-on-one, we wanted to match the pace of the other person, because the more familiar you talk with how they talk, and they feel like, wow, that person really gets me. They're just like me. And your point of not being clear of the ask, because in basic human nature, we love to help people. But if you don't tell us specifically what you need, then I don't know how to help you. Or if you are too broad, then I feel like I don't even know where to begin. Therefore, I'll bypass you, right? So if it's become really specific, for example, my ask is always, I love being a connector and create opportunities for other health tech startups, because I feel like technology grows so fast, but many people just don't know the solution, and they're really banging their head to find this solution. So I can be that connector, that deal catalyst to make things happen to them. So my ask always going to be, if you know someone who's a health organization executives, founders, or innovator, I love to have a free invitation to my think tank just for them to meet some other awesome humans just like them and working together to create that positive change in healthcare system. And that becomes, I'm also very clear on who and what the ask is. And then the third part of it is creating win-win situation. After I deliver my ask, now I could say, I know many people sometimes get really confused on how do they even approach someone. Well, what do they say when they're approaching these people they really love to connect with? And that's my expertise. So I'm happy to, in return for you thinking about me and making an introduction, jump on a quick call with you and just flush out that ideas on how you position yourself or how you would best to reach out to these connections, right? So thinking about what they potentially want, how would you benefit them without even needing anything back? And then the best way is when you do this win-win situation, it can be beneficial. For some other people is that if someone become their client, they give a percentage of referral bonus, right, based on this channel partner. So be creative and really think about where those people's at, how you can create some type of win and not just, they don't have that service. So if I provide that service, it's win for them because their patient gonna get more support. Well, yes, but how, right? How do you help them generate more income? If you profit share, that technically is helping them generate income. But if you have no other ways to provide additional value to them, just because their patient had an extra option for their services, it didn't really actually help that entity, right? So we always have a misconception at the end of the day when you're thinking about very direct ask, but that ask doesn't seem like a taker because at the back end, we're always giving back.
Wow. And that's the point right there, is that, we have to really find out what we're offering and what we really need to really focus on. I was watching a documentary a couple of days ago, and it was talking about focus. And there was a conversation between Bill and who was in the room. And the person said to ask them one question. He said, so, what would you say, if you could say in one word, what is the key to your success? And everyone answered at the same time and said, focus, right? Your focus is key into getting anything accomplished. And I think that's what you're kind of like helping people cultivate, is the ability to focus in on what's important, right? What do you need to make a priority to make things happen faster, and to be more efficient? Everything you're talking about, is essential to every entrepreneur I know, because you're right. Sometimes we can have that squirrel, that squirrel brain that says, oh yeah, that looks good. And then we run this way and we start adding things to the pot when, we not need it. Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all do that naturally, just like we got excited. Anything new is exciting. Every new idea, even existing from what you already know, is exciting. So that's why we have people like change, right? If you think about the 6 human needs, some people like and some people be like, oh my God, don't rock my boat. I just like to stay in my bubble of comfort zone. But right after the comfort zone is that growth zone. If you don't step out, you're not growing at all, right? But also other people like myself also like a path. It's not that we're unable to change. We need a clear direction of a flow. If you don't have that flow, then it becomes very chaotic. So I think you brought up the focus is great because the last C in the pipeline is calibrate. So number one, we said is actually captivate, right? Captivate people's attention. Number two is create. Intentionally create who and how you're going to reach out to them. And these people should have a really great return on investment for both yourself and them, right? And then third is connect to truly be that someone who are having not only knowing how to connect with them, but creating win-win situation that will benefit and also continue to nurture. I think that the other thing we all know is we go to these big conference, big meetings, we learn some tip, we meet people, we come back. And even when we meet someone and had a second conversation, most time fizzles out, right? Because you don't have that, again, that flow chart of how do I go to the next level with that person? How do I nurture this relationship so they believe in my mission, in what I do, so they can continue to be in my corner, be that champion? And then lastly is once you have all this done, right? You have a system, then you need to calibrate. How do we refine your system and figure out, then going to the next level is learning about human behavior. Do you understand the 10 sabotaging tendency that you have and your people have, so you're not always butting heads or be in your own way? Do you understand how the buying behavior, there's 4 different types. There's so many different ways that we can analyze and calibrate based on what we already know. And that be able to say, now we can think about, okay, your focus funnel, your freedom compass, really growing in a way that makes sense to you and works well for you, not just copycat some other people's system.
Right. I mean, those are some, like, I wish I could have more time. I wish I had more time. That's a phenomenal point. You know, I would love to have you back again, Sabrina, because that's such a wealth of information. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing what you have inside with our audiences. We're going to be broadcasting on Spotify and Apple Podcast. I want to encourage everyone. We're new to those platforms, so I want to encourage everyone to check it out, like and share, follow, and share with your friends. This is some great information. If you know anybody who's an entrepreneur, has their own business, a hospital director, whoever you might know that this information is useful to, please have them reach out to Sabrina. Sabrina, how did they reach you?
Yeah, I'm very active on LinkedIn. Just search by my name, Sabrina Runbeck. And if you love to have a virtual coffee chat just to see who I am, if there's any synergy, if any of my connections in my network can support you, happy to do so. Just go to my website, Runbeck. And yes, thank you, Phil, for giving me this opportunity. We know some of my high-level connections, even with one introduction, it brought in 27 million patients. We have to really be intentional about who and how we make that connection and continue following that path. Otherwise, yes, everything takes time, but your time is so precious that we needed to be focused and intentional.
Awesome. All right. So this is Focus on You with Phil and Oscar, our special guest, Sabrina Runbeck. Thank you so much again, guys.
It's no longer enough for you to have just a gifted idea or an amazing team that has been supporting you so far to be able to take that idea into a market leading solution. In the competitive landscape of healthcare technology, you have to figure out the crucial factors that make you unique. And in this episode, we have discussed the core triad of success, vital for any innovator, detailing how roles like the innovator, impact, income connector, and a implementer who is a strategist and able to execute on those strategy is crucial. We also discussed the way to captivate your team, creating with intention and with others to engage meaningfully. Furthermore, we highlight the continuous process of calibrating how to best to improve and ensure strategies remains most relevant and staying ahead in this fast-paced space. Because that's the only way when you are able to have an integrated solution to weather the storm of the economic ups and downs. Leaders who are aimed to navigate the complexities of healthcare landscape and scale the ventures effectively has to be able to tap into all aspects, both understanding who they are, not become the bottleneck, but true accelerator for the company, as well as having that integrated front-end high-level strategic board advisor, so you can make sure that no matter what happens, people are able to stand behind you, support you, and remove your blind spot so you can have a clear path and know exactly what to do to quickly scale your health tech company into a market leader.
Thank you for listening. Remember, the positive change we're seeking starts right here with me and you. If you are a fan of the show, or if you are just having struggles or success that you're either experienced in the past or are experiencing now in the healthcare industry, these matter to all of us. I want to hear from you. Visit sabrinarunbeck.com/connect and send me a direct message. Talk soon.